They'll be calling you a radical. I want to talk about Fukushima in review of this whole incredible, beyond unbelievable story, the way it's unfolded and what's happened to me, what's happened to us, how Fukushima's unfolded. I want to go back from the beginning of the day Fukushima happened, and of my 600 videos, this video that I've tagged, for the first time since I got leukemia and I got sick, I watched that video all the way through. And I knew through so many of the people that are in the know, the people that have reported this, as I've ate this, I've drank this my whole life, the atomic nightmares. I grew up on this ranch here. I still live here on this sacred set ground, as my father was nuked to death and murdered by his own people in the Nevada test site, the drafted Marine. Fought with the Justice Department, the advocate for the atomic veterans, fought, beat my head against the wall, was mentored by people like Wallace Stegner and Red Rabbit. Grew up here, Scott Matheson. I mean, I knew what a downwinder, I knew the dynamic, I knew it all, been involved in my whole life as this thing broke loose. As you know, I've been doing videos on the atomic veterans and nuclear fallout. That video, I watched it for the first time a couple days ago, I've been so good through this dynamic and this epic fight of leukemia that I've been in. I have not completely fallen apart and broken down, but maybe twice in the hospital. I've been so militant and so strong. I watched that video and it broke me down. It was overwhelming, and I knew that that video is the video out of my 600 videos. It's that video. Not because I say so, but I do say so. As everything that I've ever watched, I'm a socioeconomist, I was on Wall Street, I was a derivative arbitrage specialist. I've done a lot of things with my life. I've educated myself for years and years and years. I have never, ever seen anything in my life that forecasted anything like this. I know it because I put a lot of weight in Jules and Christina and Nuked Radio. I think their minds are powerful. I think their work's impeccable. They're tireless. They know. That's the video they turn to. Jan, Miss Milky the Clown, whose work is impeccable. Artists, artists, artists. That's the one they turn down. My early subscribers and viewers who've been with me from day one. Every one of them I've got to know. I give out my phone numbers. Plenty of people have come to my side, and we've had plenty of phone calls. I've got to know a lot of my viewers, a lot of know these people. All of them go to that video. I watched it. Wow. You know, as you know, I go on this rant about Cassandra, and I look back at this whole thing on my YouTube video and Fukushima as fallout. Me being able to forecast this the way, in so many ways. That video, not only me, is that script that's in that video, that script saying it's going to give you acute blastic 100% death sentence leukemia. And, you know, you don't even have to take my word for it. There's 7,000 witnesses. You got to realize, too, when that video came out, people like Gwen Holdenberry, Monster Radio, what's his name in San Francisco, all got a hold of it. That video was being blared and regurgitated all over, as the count 7,000 does that video no justice. As you got to remember, as Google in those days and YouTube's counting process was very flawed, as that was tagged so many places in Facebook, and they did not count properly, which Google admits themselves was a massive problem even then. Well, my friend in Japan, in Hong Kong, said that this was just not very long ago, that she was at a conference on Fukushima and they were speaking, my name came up, and that video got played at that conference, and everybody knew it. The thing that is so unbelievable about my forecast, my calling this, as I think I speak for a lot of you viewers, and I get this over and over and over by a lot of brilliant logical minds out there that are in the aberration of the masses, as ignorance is a disease that is passed over. That's what I was working on, post-ignorance. This is even more verified on Balco, as I say. Not only that report is going to give you leukemia, and it just spewed. A lot of these videos, I think them out in my mind for a couple days, at least a couple days. Some I do, some I don't. You know, of course, I'll tag these two videos. I think to understand the path of Fukushima, you need to watch both these videos and realize when they were done. The first videos I put up that morning, you got to realize it took me 3-4 hours to get it up. Hard drive very slow that day. I let those come right purely out of my subconscious. As I'm an artist and I paint, and a lot of times my paintings, my post-ignorance art, as I've showed you a few, that painting. I did that painting in 1994. A lot of times, some of my big marquee post-ignorance pieces of work, I will think in my mind out day in for months before I paint them. This was a Friday afternoon in 1994 in my big house, in my great big beautiful art studio. That afternoon, and I just poured it out like that. All I can say is, oh my God, and I called it the nuclear triangle then. All I can say is, my God, in that video it's in the background. Cassandra is, wow. And if you don't know who Cassandra is, Cassandra was the Greek goddess, only second to Aphrodite as far as looks, as she was granted the gift of prophecy, yet it had to be taken away because, and so he couldn't take it away, so what he did, he cursed her with, yeah, she can have prophecy, but no one will believe her for time and eternity, and her heirs for time and eternity. Cassandra. That's my Cassandra angle. As Fukushima happened that morning, I watched that video. I mean, it's freaky, it's scary. It freaks me out. It honestly freaks me out. This YouTube vlog kind of freaks me out, really. As I've looked back, I was a Wall Street derivative arbitrage specialist for years, very, very good at hypothesizing. That's what we do as you know, we're in the hypothesizing business, taking data, running through our brains. It just proves to us that no machine can replace that human brain. And I was so autistic, and anyway, as Fukushima has gone, and it's not just that video, you look through every one of my videos in the context of Fukushima, look at the tags: leukemia, leukemia, cancer, leukemia, leukemia, cancer. I want people to know this. This is very, very, very real. This is very real. And this vlog has showed me that what I was up to with my post-ignorance as a socioeconomist, as an artist, as my PhD, was trying to prove that we are the masses of the ignorant. If this video doesn't prove this, is Nuke Radio doesn't prove this, is Miss Milk of the Clan doesn't prove this, is you watch people that their YouTube videos and their channels get hundreds of thousands of more views than us, many, many, many times over, and when we're telling the reality and they're not. I always fall back to Jesse Ventura, you know, and I like Jesse, don't get me wrong, I love Jesse, but when you hear a guy going, Larry King, and the crux of his idealism is this: you know, Larry, when they tried to kill President Lincoln, they were trying to kill the vice president, and it was a big conspiracy. And I'm like, my God, did you skip the 3rd grade? People don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the reality. They want to feed their own dogmatic, idealistic rhetoric that has been groomed and posture. Another face in the crowd, Orwellian. Rupert knew this. It's worked. Who would ever believed it? As my PhD has proved, it is true. We are the most ignorant people in the history of the modern world. In the United States, in the Western Europe world. It's true. It's true. As these videos, as I get attacked like you would not believe. And know this disease that I have, AML leukemia, as I think a lot of people just think, oh, you know, I went through all that chemo, he's cured. Wow. This fight is so hardcore and so epic. I don't think people understand. I really know they don't understand. As I put out that tag on that video and on my Facebook that says, hey, anybody who wants to come with, I'd love for you guys to come with. And so, you know, I want people to see who goes with. You know, those 2 young females that have been helping me through this, my massage therapist, Megan and Melissa, right there. Because I'll tell you why. Because I was looking for a massage therapist, somebody, you know, I have a personal nurse who's been working with me and everything, and I know I've got to do every single thing I can to sort of survive this. The odds are so stacked against me. I mean, I got one miracle after another. I knew it'd be them, step 4, want to go right now, because they do care. Because I was calling all over. I couldn't find anybody who was specialized dealing with massage therapy with cancer patients, which is a very important piece of your treatment. I'm telling you, very, very important. I finally found them, and I called them right out, you know, right out of her mouth, Megan. Oh yeah, one of our best friends is dying of ABL, you know, whatever. And she was so schooled and so learned, both of them. They were young. This is, you know, because they are the cancer generation. The post-ignorant generation is the generation of cancer. That is our generation. That is their generation. As we poisoned this earth for 40 years, Nevada test site, Fukushima, Chernobyl, as people, they showed up and went with me. You got to see this in their face. It's so dramatic, and it's so irony because my counts have been so low. As I went through the treatment, as you know, really, I was so critical. I didn't have this thing come on me like that. After I said that Fukushima is going to give you leukemia, then I get the very thing I said of, is how can I give these very first reports over and over, boom, like this? How can I be so accurate on all my videos? And my videos are so accurate. It is scary freaky. It really is freaky. So I watched that video the other day, and it overwhelmed me. I mean, I really did. I completely broke down. Completely mentally freaking just wasted, broke me down. I mean, it's scary. It's freaky. Wow. As Fukushima happened, the ignorance is this. To Christina Jules, Nuke Radio, who's done such beautiful work. Miss Milky the Clan Jules, who have tirelessly, Fukushima Diary, E-News, I'll tag these places. These are so historical documents that have been traced. It's true. It is true. People think, they've been so posh and grim about nuclear fallout, they think that it's going to be 3 eyeballs in the region, you know, 3-headed animals walking around, it's going to be blood spewing out of your head. And that, wow. Nuclear fallout will kill a lot of you. It will kill a lot of people. It's going to kill, it's already killed many, many, many millions. It's cancer, and it comes on later, and you will die from it, and you won't even know that it killed you. It is the secret, evil, slow, nasty killer. The incidence of cancer rose so dramatically all the way from the bombs right here. It's no coincidence that I live on this lip, and everybody says, why don't you stay, you know? And yeah, because I'm a hopeless romantic, and I grew up old school, really old school. I grew up on this big, beautiful ranch on the edge of this lake that really, I grew up in the old romantic style with that, you know, Christian, God-loving woman in that farmhouse, you know, with the big mills, with all the hired ranch hands and the farm hands and the family. I mean, really, I mean, it was like an old romantic movie in the real context, not the bullshit gun shooting bullet. No, the real context. I grew up that way, right here. I'm the 6th generation. Biggest tornado had ever hit in the entire region. Went right through, right where I'm sitting right here. I'm a hopeless romantic. That's why I've stayed, you know, on the ancient lake floor. If you ever watch The Misfits, and you know that, I mean, there's so many of these romantic tales. That's why I'm here. I didn't know it was this contaminated as a kid. I was autism, but I slowly learned how contaminated it is. Why? Did Fukushima put me over the top and give me leukemia? I think there's no doubt in my mind that it did. I think I just couldn't take it anymore. And says, well, why don't other people get it? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I know this. I know this. And you go to that hospital of ours, and I was so lucky that we, you know, LDS doesn't even have it there. You know, LDS Hospital, the Mormon Church do not own it. It's by default that this world-class leukemia unit, by default. I mean, I've got one miracle after another saved my life. I know this, is people on, we need to compile the data on the cancer. I'm working on it. I am tirelessly working on it. I really am. I know from being in that hospital and factual data and people I'm dealing with that the incidence of cancer, AML leukemia, which between 20-year-olds did never got this disease. It is off the hook. I'm going to tag this video right here in the tag. You need to watch it. That young man that's in that video, that's my doctor that speaks in that video. He and I in there together. Marshall, by the way, is one of the strongest young. He and I were right there in the mix together. I chose not to have the bone marrow transplant. He chose to have it. Mine was a little bit different than his, and I've walked this walk. And as we went down there and got that results, I've been in such a vulnerable position for the last 6-7 months because my counts would not recover. What does that mean if your counts don't recover? Well, maybe you're not getting better. You know, as they keep going into my bone marrow transplants, you know, we call it the thing has been termed the Chernobyl necklace, you know, and writers like Carol Gallagher and all these people that were on this long before this, you know, Richard Miller and these people that stood up and fought for my father when nobody stood up for the father, which at least they tried. You know, they call it the Utah smiley face. Well, we got to come up with another term for us because we have the scar here. That's from the central line that goes into you. And then as my massage nurses and my therapists, they'll tell you, I have the 4 tattoos up me, line up the lasers. And then the back of my hips, on my lower hips, you'll see the scars we have. And when they go into you, and that's the only way they can really tell. But I was so vulnerable because they can't hit you again, can't bone marrow biopsy you unless those counts are a certain height. I finally got a decent count, which is not great. I mean, my count should be 200-300 by now. They're still under 100. But at least they're moving up. I was so relieved that I have never slept more than 8 hours. I'm one of these people, you know, we live next to Vegas, you know, down at party in Vegas, whatever, you're up till freaking 4 or 5 a.m. I'm still up at 7. I'm one of those. I came home and slept pretty well for 2 days. So this is the first time I've been able to be relieved and reflect and look back on these videos. It's almost freaky, that video. I mean, the script on that 1966 Coca-Cola machine, I don't speak Japanese, but, you know, femen, when I did that video with the central line hanging out of me, I had a young female that was going to do that with me. We wanted it to be that dramatic, you know. But anyway, I won't talk about that. But anyway, I did that in symphony with them and Pussy Riot. My nuclear triangles, you know, Japan, Russia. Know this. As I go off and I rant and I rave and I carry on and I'm so dramatic about this, I am fighting for the people of Japan. I am fighting for the people of Russia. I'm fighting for the people all over the U.S. I'm here to piss you off. I want to make you mad. I want to get you fired up. And look, and I know that when I started this gig, long before this even happened, when I started going crazy about BP, which I'm still absolutely disgusted about BP, I want, because I'm so tired of the passive so-called tree hugger approach. It's failed. I want people to think. I want to break them out of their dogmatic, groomed another face in the crowd minds. That's what I'm up to. That's what my whole art movement's up to. That's what it's up to. As a young girl came to me, she says, Kevin, I've subscribed and unsubscribed to your channel 6 times. I says, yeah, I make it a point. I want to piss everybody off at some point. That's what I've been up to. I knew that I was going to take some serious attacks, and I saved these emails, and you will not believe the vile attacks that I've got. I want people to know this. As I say it over and over, as I was raised on this ranch, this big, beautiful, dynamic, incredible, romantic tale of mine as a boy. My dad, the Marine, used to always say, boy, you fight with your mind. And I know how to fight with my mind. But make no mistake about it. And anybody who knows me, anybody who grew up with me and knows me, yeah, I'm an artist. But I know how to fight the other way, too. Oh, do I? And anybody who grew up with me and anybody who knows me, know that I do. You taught me both. Use the first, the other's last. When you attack me, I fight back. You're not going to sit here and just attack. This isn't a chat room to verbally attack me. I don't attack back unless you attack me, but I will attack back, and I'm not afraid of any of you. I'm not afraid of the IEA. I'm not afraid. As Jules and Christine Nuke Radio, as Jan, Miss Mookie the Clown, as Fukushima Diary, as E-News, we don't have funding. We have done this on our own. They have. You got to realize the opposition, CNN, Fox News, you're talking multi-million-dollar corporations have massive funding. We do this by ourselves. We don't have a publisher built these of ours. They don't have somebody go through this for us. They don't give us written script to go through this. We are doing this freelance. That's what makes us artists. That's what art is. Art is the counter cultural reflection of society. That is what Great Editor is not painting the soup can. It is like the idea of painting the soup can, for then you have to paint the soup can. It is seen when others cannot see. That's what this is. That painting. Wow. Wow. As this thing, that video is almost freaking. That is the video. That is the video. As this needs to be said, as this was only verified a couple weeks ago in the manuscript, through the litigation in Japan, who don't think TEPCO released this litigation because they had to. There's prosecution going on right now as their system, it's much like a grand jury system would go on here, is going on there right now. They're forced to release those. I read through them. I had translation people going through them, and it's been reported by Fukushima Diary. Wow, does he do great work. It says in there, as I was doing this video at the exact same time, screaming there, dumping plutonium in there, it's just been reported 2 weeks ago, and I'll post a tag. That is the exact moment, the exact date, the exact time they did that secret massive dump into the Pacific, and this is out of their own words. I mean, that video, wow. My whole hypothesis in this, wow, Florida out of my South Carolina. Wow, Cassandra, is it maybe because I lived next to this freaking that time. Maybe my freaking brain got lit up at time. I don't know, but you know, this whole vlog, the accuracy and the way that it's come out, for me to hypothesis like this, random, this is, hell, I'm a stats professor, come on. I'm a statistical probability guy, that's what I do. Run the regression through on this. Wow. I want people to know this, as you're reviewing my videos and going through my videos, and Fukushima, as these are historical documents. As I say in post-ignorance, the report must match the event. That's why my extreme language. I love the Japanese people as I fight for them and the Russian people. And I'm working on a piece, as you know, my Silent Lake, the nuclear sticks, I'm working on. I'm also working on a tribute to the atomic veterans, and I'm going to incorporate, I want to pay tribute to the 500,000 to 600,000 men of Chernobyl. This is Americans and Russians, as that whole dynamic, and Japan, that spilled over the Cold War, and has made us hate each other, which was so obscene, as we were both propagandists so grotesquely, as the Russian people. Wow. I think every single one of us on earth should have a national day. We should have a national to pay homage to one, the nuke to death veterans, as we put up a memorial for my dad at the cemetery. My uncle did that for us, as he got no medal, none of them got no medal, none of them got no money, and they never will. But I know on my soul who stood up and fight, because I was raised on this freaking romantic in the old school, and it was all about dignity and honesty and truth, which everybody's fought in this country. This meant us Chernobyl. We should have a national day, and I want to put it together and pay homage to those men. Do you know how many men they saved their lives? By them going in there and sacrificing their lives and entombing that. The greatest construction project in world history. It's Gorbachev organized. Gorbachev's wife died of this disease. I would like to say thank you so much to their families and those men. I think, you know, what they did for us. And I think it's ironic that Pussy Riot, as that day that I did that, there are people all over the world, people don't realize how massive that protest at Pussy Riot, and they say, oh, it's oh no, that's where you make the mistake. Their rants are the same as my rants. That's why those done. We're not protesting Christianity I am very Christian, do not kid yourself, very spiritual in the true context, as you are usury freaks, because you are not, as the cornerstone of Christianity. They threw the money changers out of the temple. Threw the money changers. Listen to FDR's beautiful speech. As you are money changers. What is meant kidnapped into Christianity as your war-factoring, hairspray, masqueraded, church-going machine. You are not Christians. You are not Christians. You are money changers. Buy here, pay here. That's the big dynamic here. Look who owns them. So-called, because they're not Christians, they're devils. That's what they're protesting. As they went in their church, they're not they're protesting the kidnapping of Christianity by you devils. You hairspray, church-going, fake masquerading, marauding, murdering devils that call yourselves Christian. You're not Christians. That's what they're protesting. That's what I'm protesting. That's who you are. Buy here, pay here, usury. Let me tell you something, you guys who participate in that usury context. That is the cornerstone of Christianity, the pillar of Christianity is usury. Buy here, pay here. It is the industry here. You impoverish your people, then freaking take advantage of them. Thinking that is as anti-Christian, go to hell as they get. That video that I put up, was it some kind of spiritual being with me? Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. That's my father, the murdered Marine. That's him. That's his spirit inside of me, spilling out through my mouth. That's the 500,000 men that entombed Chernobyl spilling out of my mouth. That's the 40,000 atomic veterans murdered. You don't die immediately. Blood doesn't spurt out of your head. You get the freaking Chernobyl necklace, the Utah smiley face. You get the Fukushima scars and the Fukushima tattoos. And you die of leukemia later, and these beautiful doctors will fight to save my life. I'm in the fight of my life. My odds are up to 50-50 now. For me to hypothesize and say that this is going to give people leukemia, it's going to kill me, then me to get leukemia, for that painting to hang in the backdrop of that freaking thing, for me to paint that in 1994, wow, the subconscious, that's the 500,000 men of Chernobyl. That's my father, my grandmother, that's these people that died of this disease, that's the little 5-year-old angel. That's them. That's them speaking through me. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Wow. You watch those videos. You watch those videos. And know this. You watch as Nuke Radio, Miss Smoke the Clan, and then you watch a person like Ventura, or you watch a person like Alex Jones, you look at, because they're just feeding your dogmatic demographic, because you cannot handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. We can handle the truth, and we know what the truth, and we reported it so accurately. That's what makes those women such incredible artists that they are. That handful of incredible artists that have told this tale, and they fought for nothing. That is the definition of righteous. That is the definition of good. That is the definition of the truth. The rest, you fake hairspray, masquerading, mass murdering marauders, you churchgoers in hairspray, for you are the devils. Pussy Riot, Feminine, all of them. This is very real. This is very real. This is cancer. As the Ukraine, little girl from the Ukraine, 22-year-old died while I was in there. As we were so dummied down about Chernobyl, we've been so dummied down about Nevsay, it is my job to, yeah, that's why I'm alive. That's why I'm alive, to live to tell. To live to tell. As Jan and Miss Milky the Clown and Brad Chick, Christina and Jules and Fukushima Diary and E-News, for it is not painting of the soup can. It is the idea of painting the soup can. But then you have to paint the soup can. This is real. This is life and death. This is real. And going forward, it's going to be, as I said in the beginning, it's going to be fighting cancer. The genie's out of the bottle, and nothing's going to be done, and it's going to continue to leach. And you reactionary society, well, let me tell you something. How many of you live within 70-mile proximity of a nuclear facility that has not been updated in 40 years, who has 40 years of spent fuel rods sitting on site? How many of you? All over the world. And I love it in the United States, in Southern California, whatever, as they hauled Song's generator, just parked it right out here. No wonder we all have cancer here. As Utah's the most epic in denial, ignorantest place on earth now. My father's generation, my grandmother's generation, and my great-grandmother's generation. My great-grandmother is, I'm the 6th generation. I'm the very first people here, the first person buried in the cemetery, the very first people here. Not their generation. It is our duty to speak for the ones that have been taken. It is our duty to speak for the ones that will be taken. We have to defend because so many of them are too ignorant to defend themselves. This is going to happen again. And I'll tell you what, 70-mile proximity, let's just go there, which we know it just spreads all over the whole world, give you cancer, doesn't matter halfway the world around. When it decides to pick your lottery number and your draft card, you ain't running it, can it? It's on. You better know how to fight, that's all I gotta say. Because I was taught how to fight with my mind. I can fight both ways. Like I said, you guys want to attack me? Try me, I'm not afraid of any of you. As my nurse said, some punk ass got into me, she says, I don't think he's afraid of you. He's been sparring for the last 14 months with the toughest freaking sparring opponent in the world, AML leukemia. It's going to be the diet. It's going to be spiritual. It's going to have to learn how to counter and fight back this. That is how we handle this going forward, because it's obvious nothing to do it. If one of these accidents happen, it's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. And everybody's going to look back, and they're going to say, oh my God, why didn't people warn us? Why didn't people say this? Why didn't they? Because Oliver Stone says it in his new documentary so perfectly. He says, the untold history, I shouldn't have called it that, because it is told. It's just what people decide to listen to. Well, we see what you want to listen to. You want to sit in dogmatic, ridiculous, hyperbole rhetoric that feeds your own dogmatic ignorance because you cannot handle the truth. But that doesn't mean we are not going to tell you the truth. As they speak through me, as they speak through those guys that I spoke of before. They're the artists of our time. Stay tuned.